It is all well and good champion training like an absolute beast on your account, but the next part of the battle on your account is knowing what champions to max next. So what is up, guys? This is Cobb, and welcome to another episode of What to Max Next. So we're going to be starting off with the account of Mr. 22 Soul. Of course, this is the video series where I take a look at a few of your guys' accounts and just give some recommendations, man, on what champions I would be building out next on this account, where it mine, looking to usually plug gaps in the currently existing roster of level 60 champions, which I've highlighted just here up at the top of this account, and giving a top 3 picks of the next 3 champions that I would take up to level 60 next on this account, and chatting about why, and feel free to play along down below in the comments as we go. Man, before we get into the picks, real quick, if you'd like to start off a new raid account, make sure to do that right now by using the beginner link that is down below this video at the top of the description box for the best start possible, man. Triple legendary start available only until October 30th, when Michelangelo is the login reward legendary champion. Besides that, man, from that beginner link, you're going to get yourself Basilius Rhinus as well as 3 free epic champions as you level up your account, and it's just the best possible way to start off a new raid account, man, in 2025. Okay, man, let's have this. Let's have this if OBS would tab me on over to the correct window. There we go, man. So if you're playing along, or even just like playing along mentally, not necessarily in the comments down below this video, I will go ahead and point out that Mr. 22 Soul has already gone ahead and built Deacon Armstrong up to level 60 on this account. I did have a slightly more updated screenshot that I'm not using for the purpose of this video. This one's just a bit high quality, but just know that the Deacon is already level 60, which is a bloody good choice, and I do like that a lot. So the first question we've always got to ask ourselves is, what key tools is this account lacking, right? Does it have an increased speed booster and like a speed aura? Well, yeah, it actually does with the Elf Autumnborn, so that's bloody lovely. Does it have the likes of an AoE decreased defense? What about AoE decreased attack? Those kinds of things. Yeah, it's got both of those on Mikey, and I really hope, by the way, that Mikey is the champion on this account for Mr. 22 Soul. If you're watching, which I hope you are, I hope that the Mikey's getting all the skill books on this account, because Mikey is a great general use champion that's going to help out in many areas of the game because of the diversity of his kit, and so I hope that he's the one getting the books, and then probably the Elva after the Mikey, in my view at least. So yeah, we've got those boxes covered. That's great. We've also got a healer and reviver built, not only with the Elva, but we've got the Rector here as well. Good AoE damage with the Alice. We're checking a lot of boxes here already. This is great stuff. We've even got like an ally attacker with the Farrakhan, which is bloody lovely, like poison, HP burn, ally attack. He's checking a lot of boxes too. We even have a block buffs champion with the Sun Wukong, which leads me straight on to look for a provoke champion. If you've got a good block buffs champion on your account, something like an Ugo or a Sun Wukong, or even like an Ostrox or something, you know, epic champion, to take into Hydra, the next tool you want to be looking for is a provoker, which on this account we do not have. Except for the fact that we absolutely do, and my first choice for what champion we should take up next on this account would be none other than Seeker. Why? So we can start one keying the hell out of normal mode Hydra with this account's team. Seeker is, of course, the provoker of choice that I actually use on my free-to-play account for lack of better options, albeit he's not the best Hydra provoker in the world. He brings some 10 meter boost, gets himself an extra turn on his A2, so the 10 meter fill is 30%. And then gets an extra 10, so that's actually quite a good skill in and of itself. And then his A1 is a double hitter with a 50% chance of placing provoke. For getting started in Hydra for the very first time, for me at least, okay, yeah, you want to bring some AoE heals and bring some HP burns if you can, some decent AoE damage if you can, an AoE decreased defense, decreased attack if you can, which we do have with Mikey on 22 Soul's account. But for me, the 2 big key tools to bring into Hydra for the first time and get yourself 1 keying into normal at least are going to be a provoke champion for the Head of Decay, ideally a nice and reliable provoke champion. Seeker gets you most of the way there, as long as he's built nice and fast with good accuracy, and a block buffs champion. Again, Sun Wukong, Ugo, those kind of guys. And so a Hydra team on Mr. 22 Soul's account could well be the Seeker as the provoker, the Sun Wukong as the block buffs champion. We could then bring along the likes of the Elva as the speed aura lead, as well as the speed booster and healer. Rector Drath as the second healer and reviver, also bringing Perfect Veil, which is also great into Hydra as well. We've got the Geomancer to act as one of the damage dealers, and then we could bring Mikey as another damage dealer who's also going to bring decreased attack and decreased defense on an AoE. And right here, like, just at a glance, we've got a very solid little starter Hydra team that should honestly be smacking its way through normal Hydra, no problem, at least once all these champions are booked up. But even unbooked, honestly, some of these champions should be able to get the job done. You know what I'm saying? So the Seeker, for me, gets us over the line with Hydra. It would be my pick number 1. Next up, another relatively evident gap in the roster as well. is a decreased speed debuffer, right? A good, reliable way of placing decreased speed, ideally on repeat, in your roster is another great tool to look out for in the early game. It's going to help you into Chimera Clan Boss. It's going to help you into Fire Knight. It's going to help you into Dark Fae in Doom Tower. And we're about 1 month away at the time I'm shooting this video from Dark Fae coming back into rotation in Doom Tower. And it's a very high priority boss to farm. You're going to need 10 meter decrease AoE damage, which we have handled, and a decreased speed debuff is going to be very, very helpful into a lot of key bosses in this game, right? Especially Chimera. And so we don't have that right now on this account. What we do have is my second pick, which is going to be right beside the Deacon, which is going to be the good old Stag Knight, man. Stag Knight, of course, again, absolutely fantastic champion, no doubt about it. Very, very multi-purpose. And most importantly, he's going to be bringing along a pretty damn reliable way of placing decreased speed debuff on his A1 skill. Is it 100% reliable? Not really. It's going to fail to land sometimes, but it is a double hitter, and it is a 50% chance on hit of placing decreased speed debuff for a couple turns. It's a lot better than anything that we currently have, and Stag Knight for me on Mr. Soul's account would be a must pick and must have in the likes of a Chimera team. Almost definitely be using him in a Dark Fae team as well. Probably Spider, probably Fire Knight. Remember, he does also bring along decreased defense, decreased attack on a 3-turn on his A2 as well, so he's going to be incredible against the waves, solid against most bosses anyway. And while we do already have these tools, the decreased defense, decreased attack, covered by Michelangelo, Michelangelo, for all I know, on Mr. 22 Souls account isn't even booked yet, and so Stag Knight could sort of fill in until the Michelangelo is booked, and he could do that job on the team. We're almost definitely going to eventually use Stag Knight into like a second Hydra team anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's a thing. Like, he's going to feature in a Hydra team anyway for a while on this account, bringing these key debuffs. And like I say, the decreased speed debuff for me does make it worth it. So he would be my pick number 2. And my final pick. I mean, we've got some good champions here, by the way. Just to point out, Old Habit Yoga is a great champion. Miscreated Monsters, an amazing champion, honestly. Ingrid Twistaff, great stun set champ. We've got the Man-Eater here as well. Gembo. God, we've got a lot of champions here. Gisgard, Magna. We've got a lot of good champions here that we could easily pick to go up as like the third choice champion. For me, another thing that this team is lacking, because we've got like the ally attack from Farrakhan up here, which is great for Fire Knight, but like our only key decreased speed champion is then going to be the Stag Knight. Okay, fine. That's a decreased speed handled. But then our only decreased turn meter champion is a Geomancer, which isn't great into Fire Knight at all. Like, the HP bans from Geomancer won't do anything to Fire Knight, because the Fire Knight should never get a turn against Geomancer. Like, Fire Knight should never get a turn anyway, you know? So Poison's HP bans tend to lack value into Fire Knight. Geomancer's not great against the waves. And so we need another decreased speed champion. Decreased 10 meter champion. And where is she? I swear I saw her. Oh my god, she's actually right here. The oldest in a big row, bro. Okay, yeah, I go for the Allure. Allure, of course, is an absolutely ridiculously good champion. Probably the best just out-and-out 10-meter controller budget option champion in the game. And why do I say budget? You don't even need to book this champion. In fact, in some universes, it's actually better to just leave her completely unbooked, because you actually don't want to decrease the cooldown on an A2 a lot of the time, because then against waves of enemies and things like Chaos City, where you can't set up team presets, she ends up using this A2 a whole lot, and it's not a very good A2. You kind of just want to spamming at A1 as much as possible, which doesn't benefit from books at all. Triple hitter, decreased targets 10 by 25% on each crit, and so obviously, again, into Dark Fae and into Fire Knight, this Allure is going to pop off. She's going to almost trivialize these fights, you know. She'll basically solve hard mode Doom Tower Dark Fae, as well as basically all of the stages of normal mode Fire Knight, especially alongside a Farrakhan, and especially alongside a Stag Knight. So yeah, she's just waiting to pop on this account. Did you have the same picks as me? Did you go a little bit different? Do you disagree completely with my picks? Do let me know down below, man. Moving on to Mr. Adkeys' account. Where, okay, so the first thing that's a little bit odd about Adkeys' account is the massive amount of level 40 champion duplicates that we have here. Which is very, very strange. I mean, look at the Farrakhans. Oh my god, dude. Do we have a max level Farrakhan? We don't! Oh my god, okay, that's just bizarre, man. I also note that behind my camera as well, we've also got another copy of Deacon Armstrong here, but we already have a Deacon up at level 60 as well, so that's very strange. We should be empowering some champions, man. If we finished setting up our Faction Guardians on this account, it's very, very odd that they're all level 40. That's very strange. Are we just using, like, it's like our Barbarian Faction Wars team, just an army of level 40 Farrakins, you know? I don't even know, man. I can't even click the undo button enough, by the way, to actually remove these X's that are put on these Mordecais now, so those X's are just gonna have to stay there, man. Screw you, Photoshop, I hate you. What's also nuts about this account as well is that the level 60s on the account begin here and end with the Deacon. We only have 5 level 60s on the entire account, man. Never mind level 50 syndrome. We have level 40 syndrome on this account. Like, all of these champions are level 40, bro. That's kind of crazy, ad keys, man. You gotta take your champs up to 60, especially those that you got fully booked. Then you can commit your best gear to those champions. And a level 60 champion is like 5 times the champion that a level 50 champion is. Most of the time, for most champion roles at least. First and foremost, man, all poking fun aside, I will say that the level 60s that we have on the account are bloody great. The Bad Alcazar, man, is going to be bringing healing and poisons. The UDK is going to be bringing healing and, by and large, like decreased attack and survivability tools, which is also great. Like, UDK is actually a very solid champion into early game Demon Lord Clan Boss, where you just need a reliable decreased attack guy and a guy who's bringing heals. And between him and Bad L, they should have no problem handling the healing duties inside a Demon Lord, so that's great. The Kale is fine, the Deacon is very, very good. The only one I'm a little bit unsure of is the Magna, who I wouldn't have bothered taking up to 60 at this point. Magna is by and large an arena nuker, and like a faction wars nuker, like a wave nuker champion. Really more than anything, you know, and so he's a little bit niche. You're looking to build out champions that are good sort of everywhere in a very early game account like this, where you don't have very many level 60 champions. That's why you're looking for increased speed buffer champions. Increased speed is a universally incredibly OP, busted, good buff. That's good in like all areas of the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of thing that you're trying to keep an eye out for. Man, we've got some options here. I think, honestly, my first pick, just to jump straight in, it would probably be to take one of these Farrakins up to 60. I think that Farrakin is just that good. He's what I like to call a forever epic. And by that, I mean you'll practically never replace him in Chimera, and very potentially in Demon Lord Clan Boss as well. That is outside of pulling like some of like the better specialist legendary champions in the game for those roles and for those areas of the game. Farrakin's just that good. Into Chimera, he brings decreased defense, burn, poison, unique buffs, and ally attack. He alone completes like 8 Chimera trials, or like contributes towards completing like 12 Chimera trials, or something ridiculous. Like, he's insanely good for not just boosting your damage, but also maximizing rewards into Chimera Clan Boss. Of course, the ally attack and the buffs as well is also going to be very, very helpful into Demon Lord for maximizing your damage there too. Decreased defense is a bonus at this point. The burns and the poison are obviously incredible sources of damage into Demon Lord as well. And on this account, at least, I see Farrakin very, very immediately replacing the Kale in the Demon Lord Clan Boss team. Just a superior champion in everywhere. And his ally attack will also be helpful as well for progression into Fire Knight also, which is relevant because we have a Cold Heart on this account sitting at level 50. So like Cold Heart plus an ally attacker, that gets you like 80% of the way through Fire Knight. You know what I'm saying? In fact, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and just put like an honorary tick on the Cold Heart straight away, because it's kind of a no-brainer that we're going to be taking the Cold Heart up to 60. She's such an obvious pick that I'm not even gonna that I'm not gonna make her one of my picks. It's a given, right? You get a Cold Heart on an undeveloped account like this, you're taking that Cold Heart to 60, man. Darkwave, Fire Knight, Spider, all areas where you're going to be using the Cold Heart anyway. And you've got an ally attacker with the Farrakin. Like, oh my god, that Cold Heart's value is spiraling, you know what I'm saying? In fact, you know what, I'm not going to dishonor the Cold Heart with like an honorary tick. I'm just going to make the Cold Heart my second pick, man, because what are we talking about, you know? The Cold Heart's going to be the second pick, they're done. I'm not going to cover her kit and stuff, she's busted. That's all I need to know. Everybody knows what Cold Heart does. Next champion that I take on up would actually be probably the Rector Drath, only because we need a Reviver champion if we're going to be serious at all about pushing into Chimera and doing anything meaningful into Chimera Clan Boss. And given we're going to have a Farrakin level 60 on this account as soon as possible, at least that would be my recommendation. Farrakin, Rector Drath is going to come in with heals and, most importantly, the Revive, which is bloody crucial for getting through... Oh god, what have I done to my camera? Okay, good, it's fixed. It's going to be crucial for getting through the Ram form in Chimera, right? Somebody's going to die. Someone's dying against Ram form most of the time, you know, if you're pushing into a difficulty stage of Chimera that's challenging, where you can still get the chest in Chimera Clan Boss. The Ram form is going to kill somebody, and so you need a Revive in order to get past that. And so yeah, I'd build up the Rector Drath for that job. An option that I did consider for what to take up next was actually going to be the Apothecary for like an increased speed buff for champion, because we don't actually have one at max just yet. That said, I sort of feel like we have enough survivability and enough control on the account and stuff like that. And we've also got a Donatello. It's like, okay, we could go the Apothecary, we could go the Donatello. If we have enough skill books to book up the Donatello anytime soon, then we could also knock the Donatello and the Mikey up this chain of priority a little bit ahead of the Apothecary, you know? I think Apothecary's fine and can do his job at level 50 for quite a while, is mostly what I'm saying. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that the only reason I didn't pick Donatello and Mikey, by the way, is the next combo to take up to 60, is because I'm assuming that we probably don't have that many legendary skill tomes to go around on the account, given that we have a Bad L who's 5-star awakened and a UDK that's going to be hungry for skill books as well. It's like, we probably don't have the books for the Donny and the Mikey for quite a while, though they are an incredible champion duo, even if those are the only two turtles that you've got. So I'll go ahead and leave those guys as honorable mentions and like long-term projects for the account to work on over time. Those would be my 3 picks, man. The Coltat, the Farrakhan, and the Rector. Another honorable mention for the Husk. It's a Hydra damage dealer and provoker once we eventually get there. The only reason I'm not touching on the Husk just yet is because we don't have a block buffs debuff at champion. And so even with the Husk at max, we'd still probably struggle quite a bit into Hydra. And finally, this brings us to the equally underdeveloped account and Mr. Tom Wilco, where the level 60s begin with 2 Hanorak, which is a great quality legendary champion to have, and end at the Ugo still. Still, again, rather early game here. I don't see any increased speed buff at champions up at max level. Damage options are a little bit limited too, honestly. It's basically 3 poisoners. That shouldn't be red ticks, but it's basically 3 poisoners and burners that we've got here, which is fine for an early game account for getting started in a Demon Lord, but against waves and Dragon, well, okay, it's fine against Dragon as well, but you know what I mean? Like, you kind of want some big meaty direct damage dealers too. And I'll go ahead and give Mikey and Donatello the honorary tick as well right at the start of this, because honestly, again, they're just incredible, fantastic, busted OP, great little champion duo, but only if you've got them both fully booked, which is a challenge that I'm currently working on my own free-to-play account, you know. And I've got to imagine that, again, the books have probably gone into Hanorak on this account, at least I hope they have, and the Elnaril doesn't need any skill books at all on Mr. Tom Wilco's account. We've also already got multiple increased speed champions at 60 with Tagore and Hanorak, which kind of knocks Donatello down the totem pole a little bit. It's like, that's one of his key jobs, has been an increased speed booster, and those roles are already covered. A quick note about the Anax as well, by the way. Anax is a great champion, right? There's only one problem. We've already got a Venomage at max on this account, and so I can't believe we've got such an early game account where I'm not going to recommend the Anax as one of my options, man. He places decreased defense on his A1, poison debuffs on his A2, and a weaken debuff on his A3. Doesn't place decreased attack, right? But he places a lot of very powerful debuffs, right? With the poisons, the weaken, and the decreased defense into Demon Lord Clan Boss. But given that we've already got good poisoners with like Elnaril and burners and stuff with the Elnaril up at max level, as well as the Venomage who places poisons as well as decreased defense and decreased attack on his A2 on a 310 cooldown, 100% land rate. I kind of feel like we just don't need the Anax on this account, which is like a really bizarre position to be in. Usually Anax is like an auto 6-star if you pull him super early on in your account like this, but I feel like we just don't need him. That is to say, it's not that the Anax wouldn't be an upgrade, it's just he's bringing weaken. And like, that's really it. That's it. Like, it's a small incremental upgrade. We've got to be more efficient with our resources than this on this account. Now, what we are lacking is some healing. We're basically relying on Tagore right now to handle the heals on a 310 cooldown, and it's not a very big heal. We also don't have a reviver, so once again, it's going to be Rector Drath. It's going to be my #1 choice, and this is going to allow us to set up a Demon Lord team that basically includes the likes of Rector, good old Hanorak for increased speed and for debuff cleanse. Very nice. Then we can bring along Venomage, decreased defense, decreased attack, poisons, the Kale, and the Elnaril. Now you might think, oh, but that's too many poisons, that's too many debuffs, Cobb. We're going to be in a position where we're stacking too many debuffs on the boss. Of course, you have a limit of 10 debuffs that you can place on any target in this game, including Demon Lord Clan Boss. But the thing is that Venomage and Elnaril both bring poison activation skills, and so they're actually going to be clearing off some of the poisons as we go as well, and so I don't think it should be too much of a problem. If it is, we can just replace the kill with, I don't know, any other damage dealer, you know? Either way, the Rectodrath is going to get value anyway as a reviver into Chimera and going to help us out in Ice Golem and all of that stuff. Rectodrath does bring a perfect Veil buff as well, which does actually decrease damage taken by allies that are under Veil by 15%. So it's a little bit of damage mitigation as well into stuff like Ice Golem and stuff like that, you know? So just a great support champion overall. Next up for Mr. Tom Wilco's account. Oh God, I really like the Phoenix too. I didn't really notice the Phoenix there till now. We do lack like direct damage dealers. He also blocks revive on his A1. I'm going to stick to my guns. My first impulse would be to actually level the Miscreated Monster up next on this account, I think. Again, just like before, by the way, I'm skimping over Donatello and Michelangelo and Donatello here because I'm assuming there's going to be a lack of books on the account, but they're well worth building up over time and putting the legendary books into those guys once the Hanorach is fully booked. But for me, Miscreated Monster, he's just a bit too much of just a absolute dungeon warlord to pass up on this account, right? He brings a couple of tools that we are massively lacking, which is going to help us out into Ice Golem progression as well. Where am I looking here, dude? He's not undead. He's Knight's Revenant, okay? He's going to help us out into Ice Golem. Why? Because of his big old ally Protect, which is bloody great for just extra survival into Golem. But also his A2, which is an attack all enemies, chance to play a stun, places shield buff on all allies for 3 turns, equal to 25% of the damage inflicted. So you want to build a Miscreated Monster, usually with crit rate gauntlets, crit damage gauntlets, if you can. HP percentage on his chest, because he is a damage based on HP kind of guy. And you want to hit as hard as you can with this A2 skill, crit damage amulet, that kind of thing, you know, and get up a nice big shield, because the more damage you do with this, the bigger the shield is going to be. So he brings a lot of survival against waves, a lot of survival into Ice Golem as a result of the ally protect and all of that. He'll help to control the boss's minions as well, but he's also going to be fantastic into Spider also, which is a big area where Mr. Tom Wilco's account is lacking. It's like Spider specialist champions, right? We don't really have a whole lot going for us here with the current level 60 pool that we have. As for what a Miscreated Monster can do into Spider, look at this. Look at the size of the shields that he just deposited on the entire team, bro. This is a level 25, right above my head right now, a level 25 5-star Miscreated Monster, okay, on my main account that I used for testing in this video. And so into Spider's Den, because his shields last for 3 turns, okay, and there's so many enemies for him to smack with that A2 skill, his shields are just sweaty. They're just ridiculous. Like you can very easily use a Miscreated Monster and his defensive capabilities like this and these massive long duration shields into Spider's Den to form like the backbone of a very survivable Spider's Den team that relies mostly on controlling the Spiderlings and then controlling the boss's turn meter, and just having like one damage dealer like a Cold Heart or like an HP burner champion, a mass HP burner champion, for example, to take care of actually killing the boss, you know. So Miscreated Monster, he feels like a forever epic to me. He feels like one of those that's really an MVP, and so that's why it'd be my pick number 2. As for pick number 3 on Tom Wilco's account, this is where it gets tough. This is where it gets very tough, by the way. We don't have a champion at max that actually has a speed aura in all battles, and so honestly, Haikatoon could go up to 60 and do a better job into things like Spider's Den and Fire Knight, probably than Hanorach, which is kind of insane, given Hanorach is a void legendary, but in those specific areas, you really just want to be as fast as bloody possible, and a speed aura helps a lot with that, and so that's a little bit, it's a tough call to make. The Haikatoon's got a lot of competition. I'm not comfortable to name her as my next pick. Honestly, even Big and over here brings some AoE 10 meter control, which is another thing that we lack in this roster as well. In fact, like the only decent 10 meter controller champion that we have is like a Soulborn Boya, and she's not amazing either. Like her cooldown is just a bit too long, really, for it to be super reliable into Fire Knight and Spider. With their 10 meter decrease skill, I think it's at a 410. So that's a bit rough. Tyrell is fine. It's fine. He also brings a 410 cooldown, 10 meter decrease. It's fine. You know, like there's not really a standout pick here for my third option pick on this account. It's very bloody tough. I mean, we could go for the Morag for like an ally attack, but we don't even have the 10 meter decrease available to really convincingly handle Fire Knight and stuff like that. So like the area of the game Fire Knight where Morag shines because of her ally attack skill, we don't really have the supporting champions to work alongside that yet. We're really just lacking good, solid 10-meter decreases. Honestly, for Fire Knight, I can't even see any good... I mean, we've got the Armature here. I actually totally missed the Armature. The Armature we could easily take up to 60 on this account, by the way, just because we are so limited on good, reliable, spammable 10-meter decreases. But then we're still lacking multi-hitter champions, and so, you know what? This last pick... God, this last pick. I'm going to throw it on over to you guys, man. I'm going to go ahead and pick one very, very tentatively. And this is only because, again, he's a forever epic. And that's Phoenix would actually be my pick. I think I'd go back for the Phoenix here. Go back to a champion I put a tick on a little bit later on. And I build out the Phoenix because you're going to use him almost forever into Ice Golem, both normal mode and hard mode difficulty. Ice Golem, Frost Spider because of his block revive. You can even use him on an account like this, to be honest, as one of your decreased speed debuffer champions and direct damage dealers into Chimera Clan Boss, and I think he'd do fine in there as well. And you're always going to get value long term out of building a Phoenix, and so that's why I'd build him next, and maybe just wait for like a few more shard pulling events to come by before we go ahead and actually make a final decision and see if we just pull anything better. That's like a very, very obvious pick of what to max up next. Like if we pull like an Allure or something on this account, makes it very, very easy. You build the Allure and you build the Morag then, you know, because then you've got an ally attacker and a multi-hitter, and suddenly Fire Knight becomes very, very simple for us. And so, yeah, those would be my picks, man, for Mr. Tom Wilco's account, roughly speaking. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you also enjoyed this episode of What to Max Next, and if you're playing down in the comments down below, man, yeah, I always look forward to reading those comments to see what you guys think about picks that I made that you think sucked, and what you would have picked instead. Thanks for stopping by, man. If you're looking to create a new raid account, make sure to get that done right now by using the beginner link that's down below this video at the top of the description box, and I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad bit later, man.